Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 14th to 18th January 2024, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look at it. Okay, these are all the articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. Okay, let's get into the analysis of each and every article one by one. New high for Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA, a non-loanee area 70% higher when compared to 2021-22 time period. That is, the news is related to this insurance scheme, the crop insurance scheme called Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana, whose beneficiaries, that is non-loanee who have been covered under the scheme, got increased to 70% when compared to the previous year. So this 70% is the new high under Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA insurance scheme. That is the reason why it appeared in newspaper. Okay, let's get into how the news has been related with examination. First, it has been related with prelims through a topic called economic and social development. Similarly, under mains through a subtopic called issues related to direct as well as indirect subsidies and MSPs, which comes under major topic called agriculture. Okay, let's get into the details of the news. See, the insured gross cropped area of the non-loanee farmers under Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana has reached the new high of 70% when compared to the previous year, that is the 21-22 period, and the insured non-loanee area accounted for 36.07% of the total area under Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana, and the insured loanee area. So on the one hand, insured non-loanee areas that has been covered under the scheme or the Yojana got increased, but on the other hand, the insured loan areas or the crop which has been harvested because of the loan by the farmers and their coverage under the scheme got declined from 444 lakh hectares in 2019-22 2022 354 lakh hectares during 2020-2021 time period and 320 lakh hectares in 2022-23 time period. So this is what the details of the news is about. Let's look into the details aspect of the Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana. It was first introduced during the Kharif season in 2016, and after its implementation, it was implemented for initial 2 years. Then the government revamped and reintroduced some changes during 2018, and after 2020, government revamped the scheme's implementational guidelines. And initially, the scheme was compulsory for the loanee farmers, that is the farmers who have obtained loan from the credit institutions like the banks, NBFCs, so on and so forth, and they are compulsory, and their crop or the acreage should be covered under Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana, and this provision was compulsory during the initial period of time. But from Kharif 2020 period, it was made voluntarily. So that is the reason why there has been sudden rise in the non-loanee farming areas. Those who are doing farming activities without obtaining any kind of loans from the financial institutions, and their share under the coverage of the Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana got increased after the cancellation of this provision from compulsory to voluntary. And under Pradhan Mantri FASAL BIMA Yojana, farmers have to pay a premium at the rate of 2% of the total sum insured for the kharif as well as oil seed, and in the case of rabi crops, it is 1.5%, and it is 5% for all the kharif and rabi commercial as well as horticulture crops. So this is what the details of the scheme is about. So what are all the areas which we needed to be further aware of is this: we should be aware of what is MSP, what are the different components of MSP, and what is PDS, and a historical aspect of the PDS, and then we should also be aware of what is revenue expenditure as well as what is capital expenditure and what is the difference between both of them. Fourthly, we should also be aware of what is kharif crop, what is rabi crop, what is the difference between both of them, and which are all the crops covered under kharif and the rabi crops. So simple ideas we should be aware of it. It is not necessary that we need to know all the crops. Some basic 10 to 15 crops in each areas we should be aware of it. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Darjeeling's zoo snow leopard success. Why wildcat are fuzzy breeders? So in a zoo in Darjeeling, the number of cubs or the number of leopards that has been reproduced through the inbreeding mechanism has reached the new high. So that is the reason why it has appeared in the news, and the news also explained what are all the concerns or difficulties in making a inbreeding of these big cats. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into the details of the news. Under prelims, the news has been related with general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity and climate change. Similarly, under mains, it comes under overall topic called GS paper 3 environment, under a subtopic called conservation, environmental pollution, degradation and environmental impact assessment. Okay, let's get into the news. So the Darjeeling's Padmaja Naidu Himalayan Zoological Park has bred 77 snow leopards since 1980s, and it is second only to the New York's Bronx Zoo, which has bred up to 80 snow leopards since 1960s. And since 1900s, occasionally only the snow leopards were seen in captivity, but from 1950s the captive born or the captive breeding becomes a common thing, and then snow leopards bred relatively well in captivity, that is captive breeding under a standardized protocol. Why? Because the captivity helps in breeding because the big cats proliferate under unusual circumstances, and also at the same time the snow leopards require a stable condition to breed or to do mating activities. And US has 10,000 inbred captive tigers, which is twice the species of tigers in the wild. Why? Because as I said, the big cats is not only snow leopards, it is the lion, tiger, cheetahs, so on and so forth. They will be proliferating, that is they will get increased in their population under unusual circumstances. That is the reason why in US the inbred captivity, that is the inbred tiger captivity contains 10,000 population of tigers, but the wild the population of tigers that is present in the wild is very less when compared to the inbred captivity. And at the same time there is a concern in captive breeding. First is whenever the officers or the in charge, the person, those who are handling this inbreeding or the captivity, if they are not knowing or not aware of the mechanism or the signal mechanism which is being given by the animals, most of the time the breeding will be led to fight between the species, and then the shyness of animals also hinders the successful breeding. For example, the snow leopards and tigers, these are all the most shied animals, and because of their shyness they hesitate to breed, or they hesitate to breed whenever it has been forced by the zoo authorities or the inbreeding captivity authorities. So these are all the concerns in the captive breeding, and there is a difficulty in breeders also. What it is the zoo need to eliminate the stress triggers. Stress triggers. What is the stress trigger is? For example, the clouded leopards did better when they were off display. That is, they are not exposed to other big cats like tigers, lions. Whenever they are not exposed to such other big cats, their mating percentage is very high, and at the same time the breeding percentage is also very high. For cloud leopards, exposing themselves to the other cats whenever they are mating is one of the stress triggers which need to be understood by the zoo authorities, and such kind of stress triggers triggers varies between the animals or the wildlife which need to be eliminated whenever in order to ensure the successful inbreeding. Secondly, genetic bottleneck. What is the genetic bottleneck is because of the inbreeding as well as the captive breeding mechanism, the genetic diversification is very less, as a result of which this breeding mechanism most of the time will be leading to the death of the cubs which has been born, or most of the time the percentage of the cubs reaching the adulthood is very less, and the induced ovulation is very hard. For example, the cheetahs, the snow leopards will ovulate whenever they are mating only, and they require multiple rounds of physical sensation to activate their neural signal, which triggers the hormonal response which is necessary for the ovulation, and this can't be done by the artificial insemination also. Why? Because this artificial, the sperm need to pass through the oviduct to meet the eggs and it will pass through the oviduct only by the muscle contraction. But whenever the artificial insemination has been applied to a particular wildlife, they will be reaching a anesthetic position. So during the anesthetic position, they could not able to there is no contraction in the oviduct will be taking place in the animals, as a result of which this sperms will not get passed through the oviduct and meet the eggs. So these are all the difficulties that has been present in breeding the cats. And what is the uniqueness in a cat is, the cat family is, the social structure of cats like tigers or leopard is that a large male territories of the respective cat encompass multiple female territories, so that they will ensure the female fidelity. But it is opposite to the cheetah, where female roams to different male territories and they will be mating with the different males to guard against the genetic constrictions. And in captivity mechanism, the female cheetah faces difficulties because of the less choice of male that is present in the captivity, and this is the another kind of difficulties that has been faced in the breeding mechanism. And no authentic record of cheetah breeding in captivity until 1956. But after 1956, a cub was born in Philadelphia Zoo. So this is the first authentic record that has been brought out in USA, that is during 1956. Even today, 1 in 5 captive cheetah of male or female will be breeding. Why? Because of the lack of choices for the females, and the female cheetah comes to oestrus throughout the year, but they show few outward signs unless they are interested in mating. This outward signals need to be read carefully by the zoo authorities, else, as I said, they will be leading to fighting between the mating animals. And what is the solution? What is the way forward to overcome such kind of concerns which we have seen in the previous sliders? The solution is to mimic the wild, that is, where the sex rarely meet. Sexes means the male and female rarely meet. Whenever they need to be met through a model or the pathway that connects the male as well as female captivity. So whenever the male cheetah could able to smell whether these female cheetah is ready for mating or not, so that bringing the male cheetah to the female area, and before bringing the male cheetah to the female area, the female cheetah need to be evacuated from that area. So by smelling the surrounding where the female cheetah has lived, the male cheetah could able to sniff or do some activity to ensure it will be doing some activity, so that we could able to know that the female cheetah which is present before in that area is ready for the mating. So that by such kind of signals we could be able to ensure that the female cheetah is ready for the mating, so that we could be able to bring that male cheetah again back to the female cheetah. Such kind of environmental thing need to be mimicked in the zoo, so that the mating will be so organic, else it will be leading to fighting or the death of the animals. Even sometimes whenever the female cheetah is oblique or they are hesitating to do the mating also, sometimes the cheetah will be ovulating because of the mating. Even though they are hesitating to do, sometimes they will be doing, and it will result in the ovulation. And most of the time, what a paper that has been published in Science in 1983, what it has said is that the sperm of the cheetah is low density and as well as very high deformity. As a result of which, post conception, the loss of fetus is common. Only 5% of the cheetah cubs survives to the adulthood because of the lack of strength that is present in the sperm of the cheetah. So this is what the thing is. Among the increase in the population of the captive snow leopard is a big deal. Why? Because in the Stones of Silence, a world's prominent field biologist George Scaler has described that the snow leopards spotted in the Himalayan area requires a specific or the specialized ecosystem to survive. So, but no zoo in India, not only in India or in the world, could able to create such kind of specialized ecosystem that is required for the snow leopard to thrive in the area. But the increased reproduction in the Darjeeling Zoo, or the success of the Darjeeling Zoo, adds to the insurance of the already declining snow leopard population across the globe. So this is what the thing is about, and this is what the analysis is about. And what we need to study further is, we should be aware of what is Project Cheetah, what are all the characteristics of cheetah, and what is the geography of snow leopard, under which circumstances, under which soil, under which vegetation it will be living. Such kind of geographical aspect of this snow leopard also we should be aware of. So these are all the areas which we needed to be further aware of. With this, we have reached the end of this topic. Why Kashmir is without snow? So the news is like, so right now the winter is going on in Kashmir, and this is the season for snow, but there is lesser amount of snow that has happened in Kashmir. So that is the reason why it has appeared in news. So let's look into how it has been related to examination. Under prelims, the news is related to Indian and world geography, and under mains it is related to important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic activity, and cyclone. So through this topic only the news has been related to. Okay, let's look into the details of the news. Kashmir's Gulmarg saw the less tourists because of reduction in snow this year. And snow in Kashmir is important for local climate, winter crops, horticulture, and as well as availability of water in streams, rivers, and it is also important for the enrichment of the local economy. So this is that kind of importance is snow holds for the Kashmir economy. And recently a dry winter has been happening in Kashmir, and it could be seen through the lack of snowfall that is happening in the Jammu Kashmir, and most importantly in Ladakh's Gulmarg area. And why is the whole of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh have remained largely without rain or snow this winter, and the winter precipitation in Jammu Kashmir as well as Ladakh is mainly in the form of snow. Winter will come on the first half of the December, and it will get increase in the momentum during the January period. And the Jammu and Kashmir saw 80% rainfall deficit in December and deficit of 100% in January. And the Ladakh has no precipitation at all in the December and the January time period. And what is the reason for it is the first and foremost reason is the role of the western disturbance. See, the winter precipitation in the Himalayan region is caused by the western disturbance. They are the easterly moving rain bearing wind that originate beyond Afghanistan and Iran region, and they will be picking up the moisture when they are traveling through the region like Mediterranean Sea as well as the Atlantic Ocean, and they will be coming towards the Himalayan and they will be pouring in the form of snow. And the western disturbance are primary source of rainfall over north as well as the northwestern India during the post monsoon and winter months. and this western disturbance are third most contributor to Indian rainfall after the northeast as well as the southwest monsoon. And during winter there would be 4 to 6 western disturbance events will be occurring on an average every year, but this year a mere one western disturbance event has occurred, but that western disturbance event is not in a strength to produce the snowfall in the region, and there is a decline in the western disturbance in the recent years, which as said by the expert is that there is a decline of 43%, and there is also increase in the temperature. The rate of temperature rise in the upper strata in the upper elevation is more than the rate of temperature increase in the plain region. So this is the first reason, and another reason is the impact of El Nino. The several years in the past one decade, that is during 2022, that is during 2022, 2018, and then 2015, where the winter has been relatively dry and snowfall has been very less. This El Nino has persisted for past few months and will continue to do so in the coming months. And the El Nino has also affected the global atmospheric circulation and might be contributing to the deficit precipitation in the region. But in some years, even without this is the year of El Nino, but there are years where even without the El Nino, the precipitation has declined. For example, during 2022 December, 2018 December January time period, and 2015, 14, 1998, 1992, these are all the period where the El Nino phenomenon hasn't taken place. But during that time period, there is a decline or a deficit in the snowfall. So we could not able to blame only on the El Nino phenomenon. There are times when, whenever there are times when there is no El Nino, the deficient snowfall has taken place. But let's look into what are all the repercussions it will be causing to the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh economy. First and foremost, it will have two types of implication. One is long-term implication and another is short-term implication. In terms of short-term implication, long-term implication, it will be creating less hydroelectricity generation. Secondly, there will be increase in glacier melting, which in turn will be leading to reduced availability of drinking water. And then, as I said, the third point is the impact of not only in increased there will be impact in the drinking water supply, not only because of the increased glacier melting, but also because of increased availability of water to drain to the rivers or streams that is going through the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh region. And then less recharge of groundwater will be taking place because of the less availability of fresh water. So these are all the long-term implications the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh region will be facing because of the lesser deficiency in the snowfall. And then there is short-term implication. What it is the dry spell can result in increased forest fires, and at the same time agriculture drought and the drop in the crops production will also be taking place, and then increased deficiency in the snow will be leading to early spring as well as early flowering, which in turn will be leading to crop yield. And then fourthly, it is because of the lesser availability of water, because of the lesser availability of snow, there will be reduction in the soil moisture, which in turn will have impact in the yield of saffron and apple, which is very important for thriving of local economy in the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh region. So these are all the long term as well as the short term implication the Jammu Kashmir as well as Ladakh will be facing because of the deficiency in the snow. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is we should be aware of the entire Jammu Kashmir geography. Secondly, we should also be aware of recent constitutional amendments regarding the Jammu Kashmir. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the characteristics of apple as well as the saffron. So these are all the other areas which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Gaps in learning persist, but tech assess offers avenues beyond. So recently NGO Pradham has made a survey regarding to the learning gaps that is present in the children aged 14 to 18 as well as 8 to 12. So this is what the news is about. Let's look into how the news has been related with examination. Under prelims, it has been related with economic and social development. The mains, it has been related to issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education and human resource. So this is what the news is related with examination. And NGO Pradham, as I said, has released the ASER report, that is Annual Status of Education report, which has recorded trends in the school enrollment, attendance, reading, arithmetic abilities among the children between 6 to 14 years of age in the rural areas of country. And at the same time, this year 2000 edition, it also focused on the children between 14 to 18 years of age, specifically on their ability to apply their reading, maths as well as their maths skills on the day-to-day life. And this ASER 2023 Beyond basic survey was carried out among the 745 respondents in 28 rural districts in 26 states. So what is the reason for focus on the children in 14 to 18 age group this time? Is the survey on the so previously the survey was conducted yearly, but after 2015 it was conducted on the alternate years. So this alternate years, the conducting of surveys on the alternate years will enable to have the deeper insights on the cause of the problems as well as the implication for the learning gaps in the society. That is the reason, and this is the reason. And another is the scale of measure is also small. That is 1 to 2 districts have been they have been included in these surveys per state, but at the same time the angle is wider. So these are all the reason why this age group have been included in the recent survey. And what the survey seeks to measure is, first and foremost, 4 broad buckets to measure, that is activity, aspiration, awareness in general as well as the availability. So these are all the 4 aspects that has been covered under the survey. And in 2017 the same age group was surveyed in the ability front, that is the age group between 14 to 18 was surveyed only in the ability front, but this time there is a mapping on how ready the children are for everyday activity, that is how ready they could able to apply those skills which they have learned in terms of reading as well as arithmetic skills for their day-to-day activities. And there is also questions related to digital components, because of, so since 2017 till today the digital aspect of the society has got evolved exponentially. So as a result of which this the digital aspect of the question also been included in the survey. And what is the key finding that has been made from the survey is the children are doing multiple things, which is not always captured by the education system or the job market. And 30% of the students or the children who have been surveyed were working, and often they have been working for their parents only, and they wanted to do the work they are doing now when they don't want to do, they don't want to do the work which they have been doing now when they have grown up. So this is the response the children gave whenever the question was raised. And 1 in 4 children in 14 to 18 age group can't read the second level text fluently in their regional language itself. And then overall girls did better than boys in the survey, and more than half of the students struggle with the division, that is 3-digit divided by the single digit number problems. And a skill, and this is the this simple division skill is usually expected in standard 3 to 4, and about 57% can read sentence in English, and more than 73% among them can tell the meaning of the sentence which they have read. And boys do better in the arithmetic and English language than the girls. In digital components, everyone knows how to use the basic things. On the surface level, they could able to use the digital components, like in the case of using the digital mobile phone for social media communication, so on and so forth, but they could not able to understand the technical aspect of the digital components which they have been handling. And what is the scenarios in the digital access gap is, the boys have much greater access to phone than the girls, and about 90% of the surveyed households had the smartphones, and of the surveyed children almost 90% were boys, and 95% were the boys, and 90% could use 90% of the girls could use the smartphones. And across all phone related tasks, boys outperformed the girls. The question related to phone, the boys outperformed the girls, and the ability to perform the digital tasks also increased with basic reading proficiency. And among those who can use a smartphone is, what they have reported is nearly 2/3 were using it for education related activities, like in the case of looking into videos to clarify their doubts, so on and so forth. As access to digital avenues for learning increases, so what does the schooling system offers, or what is the relevance of the schooling system? See, the school enrollment means the school and the system can reach out to everyone, or the every children with to whom the every children whom they have been enrolled. And in the case of digital system, it is not so, and the reaching out of the 85% of the age group by the school system can beef up the many other important components, and it also ensures the face-to-face mode of learning, and the school is the convening place as well as the place to share things and learn from the students or the children who are coming from the different aspect of the society. So this is what the relevance or the significance of schooling system holds beyond the digital schooling. And what is the reason for majority of the class 11 are the higher students who are studying humanities related subject across the people, across the students, those who have been surveyed under the recent survey is, what is the reason? Even though the job market which recognizes the students those who are coming from the engineering as well as the science background, but the most of the students those who have been surveyed have been doing the humanities related higher studies only, because of the non-availability of science group as well as the non-availability of science teacher. And what is the way forward that has been reported is, the physical restriction should loosen up, and also the flexibility in the educational system need to get enhanced. So this is what the way forward that has been made under the article. So what are all the things which we needed to be further aware of is, should be aware of the fundamental rights as well as the DPSP related to the education, and then we should also be aware of the National Educational Policy 2020, and then we should be aware of what is University Grants Commission and what is AICTE and what is the difference between both of them. And we should also be aware of Wood's dispatch as well as Markley education recommendation. So these are all the areas which we needed to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. DAVOS summit. So the news is related to the recent DAVOS summit which is being held by the World Economic Forum. Okay, how the news has been related to examination is, under prelims it is related to current event of national, this international importance, under mains it has been related to important international institutions, agencies, flow fora and the structure mandate. So through this topic only the news has been related. Okay, let's look into the explanation part of the news. So the World Economic Forum is holding its annual meeting in Davos, and it is being held right now. It has been happening. It is being held between the date January 15 to 19. And who initiated the World Economic Forum is German Professor Klaus Schwab has founded the World Economic Forum, and it was founded in 1971. Originally was called as European Management Forum, and it introduced the concept called stakeholders capitalism. What is stakeholder capitalism according to the Schwab is, it is a form of capitalism in which companies not only optimize the short-term gains for the shareholders but also ensure the long-term gain for the stakeholders as well as the society at large. And what the World Economic Forum website says is that what their objective is that a company should serve all its stakeholders, not just its shareholders. And the extension of this only, the extension of this means the global problems which is acting against the objective of this objective of the World Economic Forum will be discussed elaborately in this summit only, the yearly summit which has been happening in the Davos, and it has been attended by the heads of the government, civil society heads, as well as the other political establishment heads. So what happens at the World Economic Forum is, initially SWAP focused the meeting on how the European firms should catch up with the United States management practices. But events in the 1973, namely the collapse of Bretton Woods forex rate as well as the Arab-Israel war, made the focus to get shifted to the economic as well as the social issues. And 2 years later, the organization introduced a system of membership for the 1,000 leading companies in the world. And the Davos brings together 3,000 paying members and the selected participants, among whom are the investors, business leaders, political leaders, for a 5 days meet which will be happening yearly. And in the past, this forum is also being utilized for international diplomacy, and this World Economic Forum also publishes ranking like Global Competitiveness Report, Global Gender Gap. So these are all the important details with regards to the Davos summit that has been happening. So this is what the news is about, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Let's move on to today's practice prelims question. Mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. Those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. So with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Please do like, comment, share as well as subscribe the Ganesh IAS YouTube channel so that you will be receiving the daily current affairs session notification, and also weekly environment as well as science and tech current affairs notification, and other important notification which will be other important exam related sessions which will be brought to you in the future by